I overheard my family planning to shame me at Christmas dinner, so I didn't show up at all. A week before Christmas, I heard my family planning to embarrass me at dinner and kick me out, so I changed my plans. Last year, I came early to our big Christmas dinner at my parents' colonial house in Greenwich to help set up. I walked past my dad's study and heard my name, so I froze with my hand near the door. Dad said my jewelry business was a hobby and not sustainable. Mom said she'd invited Steven, some finance guy Jordan knows, for an intervention. Jordan started listing my rent, my tiny studio, and how I barely make money, like they were reading a report. Mom said we'd wait until after the main course so I couldn't escape. Then she said staff would clear out my childhood bedroom during dinner because my stepsister Bethany needs the space. Mom even joked she'd tell me my work was like macaroni art on the fridge. Cute, but not a real life. They laughed, clinked glasses, and kept planning who would speak first. I backed away before the floorboards could creak, went to the bathroom, and stared at myself like I didn't recognize me. I'd spent months trying to earn their approval, and now they were celebrating how to break me in public. That night I called my best friend Zoe and cried so hard I could barely talk. Zoe reminded me I'd turned down wholesale orders because I was at capacity, and that real customers were paying real money. I hadn't told my family half of it because every time I sounded proud, they turned it into a joke. A few days before I overheard them, a national retailer called Silver & Stone emailed asking to carry my pieces. I'd been scared to say yes because I kept waiting for my family to tell me I was delusional. After that study door moment, I stopped waiting. I called Silver & Stone back, took the offer, and set delivery dates. Then I made a second plan. I wasn't going to their dinner at all. I booked a quiet cabin weekend with Zoe and two friends who like me. I still wanted to give gifts, but on my terms. So I wrapped every piece and wrote short notes. For Mom, I wrote, "I'm not a project to fix." For Dad, I wrote, "My work is real, even if you don't get it." For Jordan, I wrote, "Don't invite strangers to judge my life." I paid a courier to deliver the boxes on Christmas Eve, so there was no chance they'd corner me first. The courier warned me the roads would be packed and asked if anyone might refuse delivery. I said, "They'll take it," and I left the gate code and my dad's phone number. All day I kept thinking I'd cave and drive over, but every time I pictured that study door, my stomach turned. On December 24th, my phone started blowing up before noon. Amanda, my cousin, called and said, "Where are you?" Then she added, "Mom's pacing like a tornado." I told her, calm as I could, "I'm not coming." Amanda said, "You can't just not show up. Everyone's already here." 5 minutes later, my mom called, voice tight, and used my full name like I was 12. She snapped, "Frances Elizabeth Harper, where are you?" Then she said, "Your grandmother flew in from London." I said, "I'm celebrating elsewhere this year." Mom hissed, "This is unacceptable." I took a breath and said, "More unacceptable than your plan to ambush me at dinner?" She went silent, so I kept going. "I heard you in Dad's study," I said. "You, Dad, and Jordan. The intervention, Stephen, the money speech, all of it." Mom tried. "You were eavesdropping." I said, "I was about to knock. Then I heard my name. I'm glad I listened." She switched fast to threats and said, "If you don't show up, there will be consequences." I said, "What consequences?" Then I said, "You were already clearing my room while I sat there." Mom started talking over me, but I didn't let her. "I've supported myself since graduation," I said. "You don't get to shame me like a kid's craft project." Her breath got loud in the phone, like she wanted to scream. I said, "This talk is over." She snapped, "It is not." I said, "Merry Christmas," and hung up with my hands shaking. At the cabin, Zoe poured me cocoa and we sat by the window while snow hit the glass. Back at the house, my boxes arrived right before dinner was served. Later that night, my grandmother opened her bracelet first and held it up to the light. She said, "This is finer than what I saw at Tiffany," and then looked straight at my mom. She asked, "Why am I hearing tonight that Frances is struggling?" Then she asked, "Why didn't anyone tell me she's good at this?" Nobody answered, and I could picture my mom's face going stiff at her own table. Now my mom is saying I ruined Christmas by not showing up. Was I wrong?